So here we are, 8th of June, a really nice sunny day. I'll show you around my early summer plot. Let's have a little walk round the front. But first, the pots, I've now taken out all the bulbs and put in lobelia and marigolds, and I've left behind the pansies, and they're looking really good. I'm quite pleased with them. So let's now go and have a look into the cold frame. I've put in 3 melon plants in amongst all this growth. The carrots are looking superb, and I've been pulling these. Remember we planted these in January, and what we're getting is this, which is really nice. Just to clip that off, oops daisy, and cook them like that, or just wash them under a tap and eat them raw. That's what it's all about. Beetroot the same. I've been picking a few beetroot and cooking them, and I've got parsnips over the back there, and in between them I've got a couple more melons. So let's move on to my little porch. I've also put a few hanging baskets out. Well, one hanging basket there, and a pot on the outside, and another one up, well, I don't know what you call that one, a basket anyway, a screw to the wall basket. And in my little porch, it's almost finished now, all the flowers are gone, but I've sown some pansies ready for the autumn. And then I'm going to try peppers again inside here, but at the moment I've got just a couple over there, and the wind still blows through in, it still gets quite chilly. And then I've got a couple of chili peppers, oh, and a couple of chrysanthemums as well. But basically this is redundant now for a while. Oh no, tell a lie, I sowed some beetroot in inset trays. Can you just see that? And I'm going to try planting them out. Normally I'll go straight in the ground, but I'm going to try planting them out this time. Alright, let's go around and have a look in the conservatory. Let's go and have a look inside. I've got tomatoes. I've got 2 types there. I've got Moneymaker and Elsa Craig. They were sown 3, even 4 weeks apart. No, there was no design on that, it just happened that way. But I've actually got tomatoes on the earliest one, look, which I'm quite pleased about. And everything's looking good. If we just swizzle on rain gently, I'm trying peppers in grow bags. And I've got the strawberries I've got in buckets. We're doing quite well with. We're getting ripe strawberries. I'm quite pleased with that. And I've been picking these now for about a week. Then I've got melons in the grow bags, and 1 cucumber, which has got cucumbers on it, or I've got cucumbers plural on that plant. And then on the shelf I've got chili peppers and a mixture of peppers. This year the pepper seeds that I bought didn't come up. Well, right, 1 came up, but the pepper seeds that I've saved from peppers that I've grown or I've bought have all come up. So now I've got a mixture of purple peppers, yellow peppers, red peppers. And then on this side, the greenhouse, I've got 2 plants, 2 tomato plants. I've got a cordybar, 2 cordybar, and 1 tigerella. Tigerella's the yellow one, stripy one. Cordybar are they're the big ones, the big beefsteak. So there we go. Let's go outside now and look around the plot. Right. Outside I've formed a little workbench and I've put some pots with some marigolds in and carnations, and not carnations, them other things, just to make it look nice. But it's just something that I can work on. Or I meant to say too, I've also created some tea with one lot with nettles in, one lot with comfrey in, and I'm also going to do one with seaweed in, which is just down here. But I'll quickly show you this bed in front, which is and I've got on the bed in front here, I've got celery. After looking on YouTube, I don't think I've done that quite right, but it'd be okay, I'm sure. The celery, it suggests on YouTube, on a couple of sites, that they're better grown in blocks. But I'm going to put guttering in them. I do get a lot of snails and slugs. And then I've got a few climbing French beans, and the lettuce that I've had going for quite some time now are now going to seed, and I've got some more iceberg lettuce. And then down here in front, and I've put a little frame up to keep grow sweet peas on. That's to keep the wind off when it comes southwesterly, where we sit and have our cup of tea. I'm making myself a bucket. There we go. I've got a bucket of seaweed, and there's water in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a seaweed tea type mix. Okay then, so let's move on now then to the black currants. Black currants and red currants, they're doing quite good. The black currants I've seen have plenty on. Red currants, they've been ripening now for about 2 weeks, but unfortunately the blackbird is he's worked that out. But I've now netted it, as you can probably see now, and the bees are working nicely. There's just the ripe one just down there alongside the compost bin there. Is that focused? Yeah, look at that. Don't you see there? They're quite a nice size too. So I'm looking forward to some red currants. So let's go on round. Strawberries. At the moment on this patch I haven't had any ripe ones yet, but they're filling out nicely. And then behind, it's I've got the peas that I brought on right through the winter. I'm picking those, and then beyond those are the ones that I planted out. I brought on in the cold frame and planted out. They've almost caught up with the ones through the winter. I'm picking a few of those, and beyond that the broad beans, they're doing well. I'm picking those as well. And then there's my onion bed there, look, they seem to be doing okay. But beyond that, then the next bed will be carrots, but I'm not sowing them yet. I've just put a couple of onion sets in there, but I will be sowing carrots in there during the week. And the reason I leave it so late is to try and defeat the carrot fly. Now we'll go to the other side on the other path and have a look back. Right, looking back from this side then, the broad beans are really doing well. I've picked quite a lot from low down, the large ones, and there's still plenty to be picked. Beyond the greenhouse, in the shade of the greenhouse, I've got nasturtiums. Of course you can eat the flowers and the leaves, so I thought we'll have a few nasturtiums. They look nice anyway. And then that's me shallots. There's a few are going to seed, and I'm just taking the heads off in the hope that would be sufficient. But well, we'll see. They look good. It looks like there's plenty of shallots from each bulb. It looks like there's 6, 7 or even 8. And then the next bed along, I've put in there 2 courgettes, Black Beauty. So let's now go to, well, let's stay on this side for the minute. It's a different view, isn't it? Let's go along and have a look at the grapevines. You see by the well, the next one along, that's me Seaweed. I know that to be Seaweed because I knew that I had 2, and that's got a different colour leaf. You can see that I've done that as a Goya, I think it's called, system, because it seems to like that, and I'm hoping to be able to work out which is which by the length, by how they've got their grapes and so on and so on. All I know is I've got rising and Bacchus, and I'm going to just sort out which is which, and the best way to prune them. So let's move on to the blueberries. Berry bushes, I've got 2 of those because I lost one, it just didn't come back this year. And I've got loads of blueberries, but unfortunately the wind played havoc on it last week and split the trunk. I've put some duct tape round to hold it up, and it seems to have worked. I'm just hoping it does. But the other one, because I've got 2 types, the other one just there, that seems to be surviving well. And then the potatoes, I'm just going to slick back to a little short bit I took this morning. I dug the potatoes out. There we go, so that's just the one plant. So they've served their purpose, that's just what we wanted. Early potatoes, no slugs, no disease. Well pleased with that. Now we come back to real time. And what I've done is I've planted in there a couple of melons and a cucumber. So hopefully that's going to be productive. The melons were simply seeds that I saved from a melon that I bought from the supermarket. I've stopped picking it now, just weeded it, and I need to swat up now what to do next, because to get good strong roots ready for next year. I might find that we've got to just dress it with something, but it's looking good. Strawberries in the path, as you can see, they are, because of the concrete, they have ripened early. And they're ripening quick enough now that I can pick them before the woodlice get to them. They get to some of them, but generally speaking I managed to get a nice picking, and I've been doing that now for about a week. And then the grapevine at the far end, that is I've still got to cut a lot more out of that yet. I've been working on it, but it needs a lot more taken out. So let's move on. Right, this is my interesting bit. I've got over the back there, I've got pumpkins, and they're French pumpkins. Something Provence. Oh, music de Provence. The seed I bought in France, and they seem to do well. Every year they've done well. Then between them I've got a couple of rows of sweet corn. That's to give them a bit of shade. For some reason, when the sun's really hot, the leaves flop down. The same with the next bed this way, where you see the 2 tubes. They're courgettes, and once again I've got some sweet corn in between those courgettes, and then right down here in front I've got squash. So, and I'm growing alongside the squash a couple of sunflowers, or a few sunflowers, and some zinnia, and that's to give the squash some shade. So if the weather's really hot, at least we have a bit of shade. Then the next is my potatoes. That's the early potatoes. They're all up and they've got flowers on. Then my second earlies are all up, and then my main crop, they're all up as well. And then I've got the ones that I put in, they're just saved seed from last year that I just put in near the surface, just 4 inches in, and they're all up and they've overtaken the others. I'm beginning to think, well, it's an experiment. That'd be a separate video. I'm about to earth the potatoes up a bit more, so the soil's all just been recently tilled over. And then this row through here, I'm going to put, where them pallets are at the moment, that'll get raked up, and I'm going to put in some late sown beetroot, and I've got a couple of cauliflowers here. Hopefully they're heading September, October. And then behind the fleece I've got tomatoes. That's Craigella and Herbinger, and I've put a few leeks in as well, just as a tester really, see if they grow alongside the tomatoes okay. And then here on the lower section, the same tomatoes, and I'm going to see how they perform. And the same with the next bed along. Just a minute whilst we... There we are, reorientated. There, I've got a raised bed there that's got beetroot in. I've been picking them beetroot. As you say, there's 3 there from the earlier sowing left to go. And then here on the lower section, exactly the same. and I've got two there to pick. They performed exactly the same, both the raised bed and the lower bed. And I've got the same situation under that fleece as leeks, and then at the back there, same situation with parsnips. Just generally speaking, it's looking like the parsnips in the raised bed got more foliage on, but that could easily be because the raised bed was made up with compost, even though I did mix it with a bit of sand and grit. Then we've got all our peas along here, and there's the peas I brought through the winter. I've been picking them, they're nearly finished now, there's a few there. And then these are the ones that were sown in guttering, and they're looking superb. Look at that lot there, absolutely loaded. So let's move on. Next to that, I've got a couple of cauliflowers I've put in. That's what the wire's over. No, they're cabbages. And then beyond that, beyond those cabbages, I've got two sprouts which I put in today, that I brought on inside, a couple of Bedfords. And then I sowed some more about a fortnight ago, and they're just showing now, so I'll end up with 4 or maybe 6 sprout plants. I've also tipped out, there's one of the buckets that I brought on in the greenhouse of potatoes. I tipped one out last week, absolutely excellent. Then we've got the pond. There's newts in the pond, and we've got a lily flower just trying to come. Let's have a closer look at them newts. Yeah, I don't know if you can see the number of newts in there. Look at them. There's loads. They're obviously eating something. I can't quite work out what it is they're attacking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In the grapevine, this one I just kept one cordon, so it's two cordons, so the Goya system, and hopefully I've got it right. As you can see, they're well spaced, they've all got plenty of grapes on. Here's open, and the potatoes along the back, they're looking good. They do need a lot of water, but I'm tipping them out now and I'm getting new potatoes, which I'm well pleased about. And then right at the back there, I've got 2 cherry type tomatoes that stay in them pots, and I'll just let them tumble down. Makes it look a little bit more attractive along the back. But now I need to go and show you what our fruit trees are like over there. Now I bought a new, I think it's called ebony, black currant. They're supposed to have big black currants as big as your fingernail. Well, here's open, it's looking healthy. There was I think I saw some flowers on it one day. Anyway, I picked them off because I'm told that you shouldn't have flowers on them the first time. Then alongside of that, with them paving slabs dividing up, I've taken a cutting from my red currant bush, because it's one that's been in the family for years, and I need to redo the red currant area in total. So I've taken the cut, and this is now going to be the new bush. And as you can see, that's taken ever so well, and it's doing good. Then my pear tree, it's got lots of pears on it. I've thinned them out, leaving just 2 or maybe 3 pears in each little group. I'm not sure if I ought to thin it any more than that or not, but anyway, I'm going to leave it like that for now. Then next to that is my peach tree. The wind really savaged it, and it split some of the branches. What I ought to do is to think about protecting it, put some stakes in or do something. I've got to do something. But I've got peaches on it, which is the first year I've ever had peaches, and I've only had the tree a couple of years, but I brought it from a plot where it had already been planted, but he hadn't teased the roots out, and the roots were still the bucket shape. So I think it's quite happy. It's just the fact that the wind has ruined it, and I've got to decide how best I'm going to prune it to reshape it. So maybe next year there'd be something serious, so I won't have peaches, but who cares? It's all fun, isn't it? And then the apple tree, I'm just going to give you time to flick back and show you the blossom. There, and now look, it's this is the result, and I have been thinning them out as well, and it looks like I should need to thin some more out. So there we go, and then just along the back is all my potatoes, and as you know, some of those were sown or were put in January, and so some of those tubs can be tipped out now. I've already tipped a few out, and the potatoes are superb, nice new small potatoes. So let's have a look around the whole plot. There we go. I think it's coming on nicely. I'll see you probably midsummer sometime. Bye for now.